So it's finally moving day, and we're going to be going to one of the two places that I mentioned in the last video. And if you haven't, you're going to be in luck, because this base has served its purpose. I mean, we've had a lot of good moments here, I won't lie. But to really kick things off in the series and to get things going, we got to spread out. We got to go somewhere where A, resources are more abundant, teams are more common, and realistically just more space to build many things that I have. I literally have a whole list set aside of things I want to accomplish for this series, so we're going to need to invest in a larger piece of real estate to do so. But before we kick things off, I have to say and address the gigantic elephant, or rather mammoth if we're being, ARK. The giant elephant in the room, which is essentially ARK Aquatica. The DLC, at least personally for this series and all my others, well, really this one because I haven't really progressed too far in the others, but this DLC has killed part of this series in the sense that basically all I did in the last episode was gone. You can tell I have a different RG. I literally just tamed this up. This is not bred. This is not anything. It was just a wild one. Tamed it, and now we got a 136. So all the stats that I had before, gone. I mean, I can't even tell you. The worst part, right? It killed all of my flyers because the mods that I had, at least I believe it was classic flyers, I took it off thinking I could at least get, the movement speed and everything figure out because we were getting levels in that, which I clearly didn't want to waste points on that. So at least going forward, I know how to fix that now. But I tried to reset as best I could those other mods, which just eliminated the flyers. So I had to redo the creation, not too far, but redo some of the creation for an RG, for Pteranodon, and now they're gone because, well, I was able to salvage actually the Pteranodon, as you can see. Aside from that, everything else was gone. Obviously, these aren't going to be the exact same stats because movement speed was taken off from the last thing because I did a bunch of dino wipes after the mod was deleted. So I replaced it to the proper level, but the points obviously were the thing. So that's going to be that. Again, not too crazy about getting a Pteranodon or even the RG when I had it to the exact level it was before because I'm not really going to be using those as a main mount throughout the series. There are a bunch of other flyers, a bunch of other things I want to explore and access and tame up. So we have to deal with a very reduced amount of weight on this RG. Again, I have a bunch of other structures. Actually, let me showcase that so that way we're all aware. I have a great idea. Of course, it's impossible to show for, but I have a great idea in terms of a kind of base I want, and I definitely want to make like sort of a center point, similar to what I did in Fjorder, but not as massive a scale because between my computer with integrated graphics and everything, it was killing this like graphics and everything. So I'm trying to downplay, or rather not downplay, but trying to scale back just a little bit to salvage some of that rendering so that way it doesn't take as long to render, which it's not the end of the world. Even like with the ARK Order, I was still able to use the whole base like I intended. It's just from afar, certain parts took longer to render. So my thought process is by cutting back on some of the size, I'll be able to actually have the full base spread out and also be able to render in all at the same time. Even if it takes a little bit longer, I can still wait a while and then all of it's there in one shot. It's not like render distance from afar and near. So we're going to have that. Let me show, because I know my map is probably going to need... Okay, you could kind of see, but around, what is it? I'm pointing north from where I am currently. You see temporary headquarters is the green. I'm going to be going to the north by the trench, the Wyvern Trench and the volcanoes, because the real estate there was much better, much more open, much more clean and flat. So a lot could be done there. I have a few ideas, not just for a center atrium kind of style base, but a couple other buildings, taming pen, breeding pen, a couple other things I think, maybe even some other ideas I got from looking at the base location too, because that was like a fallen kingdom, a lost kingdom, whatever. And it gave me some cool ideas for things I could incorporate into my base design. So we're going to have that all sorted out in the very, very near future. But for right now, first things first, we got to get over there. So let us get on our RG, which honestly, the colors aren't as bad, although I did like mine originally, but no matter the case, we have a long distance to go. I really am bummed out about Aquatica DLC. I really didn't think I was going to be doing this series for a bit because I really was going to focus completely on Aquatica because there's a lot of new things. Obviously, we all saw the dossiers. We all saw the trailers, the teaser trailer, though some may say it was AI generated. It is what it is. Whether they had to do it or they wanted to, it's up to them. Snail Games chose their own, so they have to deal with whatever the results are, whether that be consequences or kudos. Yeah, so really bummed out how I literally spent, I think it came out, like I said, on the 15th around 1 o'clock my time, 1 p.m. or so. So I immediately got it. Then we started the download. Got, what was it, about 3 hours to do that because it wasn't just the Aquatica DLC, which we all know. For everyone who doesn't, I'll explain very, very briefly. The Aquatica DLC was just one update. In addition to it, whether you had Aquatica DLC or not, every ASE was going to be updated with new shaders. I believe there are going to be new light fixes or something. There was a bunch of things they had to do. Let me change up my armor real quick because it is cold. So they had the shaders and a bunch of other technical upgrades made to it because they said in their post that the DLC was going to, or rather the update surrounding the DLC of Aquatica was going to incorporate new advances in their software that they were going to be implementing into all of ASE because they figured it could work. So with that being said, we're out of stam. That's not what you want, but luckily it's just a bunch of deer over there. That's cool. Yeah, colors, I'm glad to see they're still here. Again, this is single player, so if the animals don't die, then they will remain these colors till they do die. Because even if Summer Bash is over, and let's say that red deer never gets killed, it's going to be there for as long as I do the series. So we got that being said. Let me get off of you just to prevent anything bad from happening. So you got that with the DLC. That whole issue, they have to repatch and refix. But then the worst part is that it wasn't just a big, like, one download or one install for all of ASE. It went for each DLC you had in your games downloaded. So I had obviously Lost Island here. I had Valguero, Crystal Isles, Ragnarok. I don't recall if I was doing anything else or rather preparing for anything. I think it was just the 4 for right now. And there was some big files that we had to let it do, so that kind of sucked. So that kind of led to literally around, I think, almost till 8, call it 6, 7 p.m. at night. It finally finished, and then I figured by that point, I'd be great. Start a video, get the first one out, all is well. The problem with that was by the time I hit, launched the Aquatica DLC, let it go, made sure, like, obviously all the settings, which looks like all my other series are going to be the same settings. Like, all I'm really doing is, again, changing the armor. All I really was doing was just increase taming rate. Nothing really else. I mean, a couple of mods, obviously, like, for certain creatures. Like, on this map, the wyverns to have them breed, griffins to have them breed. The SS mod, the Dino Depot, all those little things, the loot crate enhancement. Not like enhancement scales, but like just the normal mod for it. Like, I had all those things incorporated, and then I hit play, or rather play single player, and then within like a minute, it got a ginormous crash error, and the game couldn't work. So I was like, well, that's not good. I figured it's like first time running, they have to, I don't know, just get your systems properly, what's the word? Like, acquainted with the new DLC and everything it has, because it's pretty big DLC. I think it's like 35 gigs, so it is pretty chunky in terms of size. But in terms of like the rest of the actual game, it shouldn't really be that crazy of a thing. Hello, Sarko. Let's just go. We got enough stam. Oh, full stam, cool. So then I decided to run a couple more times after that point, and What really sucked was that it kept crashing. Then I looked at the Discord, looked at the Steam news, looked at like all the things that they could have said, and sure enough, there was a problem with Aquatica DLC. Like I said in my brief video and short, did I expect this? Or rather, did we all as a community expect this? Absolutely. However, for whatever reason, there's always that small percentage of a chance that the Aquatica DLC, even being not rushed, it was delayed a month. Like, it was supposed to be out in June. So they only delayed it a month, which, if we know ARK, or rather, we know Wildcard, we know Snail Games and everything, they usually push it a couple months for whatever reason. Whether they gotta do more testing to make sure everything is working, whether they gotta incorporate some things to make sure certain bugs and glitches don't happen and fix all that. Bunch of things they have to do. They usually push it like 3 to 4 months. So by them only pushing it a month, figured, this could be something. Maybe it wasn't as crazy of a DLC because, again, maybe by doing a bunch of ASE, they figured out many different ways to speed processes up or to enhance the programming or whatever of ASE, because ASE is not as demanding as ASA. That's clearly not the case. So then I had to wait till like 1 a.m. to basically clean erase everything, reinstall everything to the pre-Aquatica benchmark or whatever it's called, which is what I'm using right now. Again, the reason how the last episode went out after the DLC, that was because it was obviously recorded before the DLC was launched. So now, this is when I'm recording. This is like 3-4 days after the pre-Aquatica thing. That whole situation got temporarily patched to fix whatever problems, at least, so we can kind of roll back to pre-Aquatica, running the servers and everything. So since that got situated, that's why we're doing this right now. So going forward, hopefully in a short amount of time, they fix the Aquatica DLC so I can actually do what I want to do. I'm doing a full playthrough because, like I said, that DLC, bunch of new creatures, weapons, gameplay mechanics, locations, biomes, everything. I want to check it all out. And the one thing I'm really, for some stupid reason, excited for is the mud puppies. I don't know if you've seen them. I'll throw a picture of them up right now so you can see. But the mud puppies just look adorable. And I generally don't really know too much about them in the sense that I don't know if they're more like a companion, like the Armadago or the Veilworm in ASA. So at least, if that's the case, at least ASE gets some companion that technically doesn't die, but obviously comes back after it temporarily dies. Not permanently dies. I really it kind of looks like I guess it would be fair to say based off like the things on its head, like the axolotl where they have like those things. So the beauty of it is that it says it's like a breathing apparatus, or rather it helps to breathe. So I'm assuming it's similar to like how I think Diplocaulus or Diplodocus, the little like amphibious thing where it helps with breathing underwater, as well as what would that be? I forget the other thing that does it in ARK. You could let me know down in the comments. But for that, I think the main benefit of that creature is going to be obviously a companion, but it's just going to look freaking amazing, which, again, I cannot wait to see how it comes out. So anyway, now that we are here, again, just so we are aware, Wyvern Trench is right over there, like that region over here. So originally I was going to build on that little plateau, but it is quite close where I don't want any wyverns potentially to spawn out and come and attack me, which could absolutely destroy everything I love. Don't know how I whistled that by mistake. So I'm going to choose to go on this, at least for like the main parts of my base. If anything, I might throw like the breeding, I might throw the taming pen on the other side, just so that way it's out of the way and not really likely to, if a wyvern does get there, there's really nothing in there it could destroy. So again, this is going to be where we're starting the base, at least from what I have here. So first and foremost, I want to get all of that down because it is not necessarily a safe area in the natural sense. Meaning, let me actually bring out my T-Rex, which I think it's funny that I wound up doing this, but I think it's quite fitting as well. Now I have Aquatica, because probably nobody else really does right now, so I figured, honestly, with the colors and everything, wow, that Rex is beautiful. Too bad you're dead, but beautiful nonetheless. You're gonna stay over there for the moment, that's fine. Let me just grab these Rex arms real quick, so that way they are in my inventory, rather. So that way we can, like, summon whatever boss I think it is. I'm gonna assume one of them need Rex arms. Can't recall which one that would be. But anyway, in terms of where I'm gonna lay the spikes, so this isn't a ginormous area, so I think I'm just gonna make this whole cliff right here the base, or at least most of it. So I guess I'll just start closing off right about on this line, if you will. Let me just show, even though it's not really a great reference, you could kind of see that little divot in the rock structure right there. So pretty much everything right here is going to be blocked off with the spikes, so nothing should be able to be accessed, or rather can get past. There's no Managmar, the flying things from Genesis, over here. They're all in the snow biome, so they shouldn't be over here. So I shouldn't have that issue. The only things would be Carnos, Rexes as you saw, Argies as you can see, Raptors, Sabertooths, whatever. And those cannot get past the spike walls that I'm about to put. And they are metal, so they won't get destroyed. At least nothing from here will destroy it. So let's, I guess, see. Hopefully 20 is enough. I'm kind of banking that it is, so we'll see. Let's just go ahead and drop this. Undo the snapping, so that way it's not going to go into the sky. There we go. Perfect. Gonna have to move you in just a second, so let us do that. And I did disable friendly fire, so by running into them, obviously isn't going to give me any damage. But if I had it on, then that would be the case. So let's go ahead and finish this up. Disable snapping again. Throw that right there. Drop this here. Drop that there. How many more? I guess that's fine. Just have a little bit right here. And since we kind of have extras, just kind of prevent this area from being accessed. So I'll do the same on that side. Again, this isn't obviously for anything special to defend the base. Like, it's just enough to keep the normal things from being aggroed and deterred from entering, which is kind of all I'm focused on. I'll keep 5 just for right now. So if we just take a quick little look, pretty safe and secure. That's beautiful. And again, I could fly over this, so with any flying creature, that's not going to be an issue. RGs are going to be the few occurrences I could see, so I might just set up a turret on the other side just to prevent them from getting near, which isn't the end of the world, but it would be a bit annoying to have them all here. So yeah, that seems fine. So for right now, let me just park you in the corner. I'll leave you on passive, so that way you don't get aggroed to anything and fall off the cliff, which would suck. Let me see. I also need, because I'm going to be living close to the volcanic isle, or the volcano in general. I don't know why I said volcano. Volcano. I'm going to have to look into some desert cloth, so that way I am not freezing, nor will I be overheated, because that's kind of the kicker of being in such a warm region, because I have just normal chitin, and let me just show how much could I put on before it's too much. Oh, okay, then I guess all that works. Perfect. I thought it was too hot, but maybe that was just because it was a different day. So we're gonna go, how many did I set this up for? I think 3. That's 1, 2, and 3. Let me go ahead and do that. I'm going to need you to move, so I don't want to whistle you over there, because then the Rex will probably fall off the cliff if I did. Let's go back to, not that. Let me have the rest of these right here. So we got 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and 3. Then we go back here, do the same thing all around. And then we just drop one there, drop one there, and there. And I feel like I'm out. But I do have more at the base. Obviously you saw. So the other idea I had, which can't really do much without the rest of the stuff, is going to be, so that's going to fill up right there. Perfect. I'm so glad I finally figured out, even though it's like 10 years later, at least for when the game came out. But again, I wasn't playing as much as that time. So I'm so glad I finally figured out the circle thing, which I was really trying to do in Fjorder. But, nonetheless, we are here doing things. Keep your weight higher and higher. I could kind of do some of this. I don't know how much I will be able to get done, just because of the simple fact that I need more to show. But since this side these two are 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Yeah, so pretty much I think this is a good. I might bring it out one more, actually. Let me take it from here. Pick that up, the one perk of SS. So we place this guy right there. How far is that sticking out? That's good. I like that. So we have this right here. That's going to be the extent of the wall. Then did I bring any of the door frames? I don't believe I did. Silly me, I know. I only have doors. Well, that kind of blows. Yeah, I gotta go back. So let me drop all of this stuff onto my Rex. And then I will make the trip back with the RG to hopefully grab the rest of the stuff. But there is a good chance that won't be the case. And I'll probably have to make a few trips. Which, honestly, looking at it, I might just bring everything here in trips, so at least I have everything here. And then I could finish out the design, because it's going to take a while if I just go back and forth and back and forth. So let me go back to base, do as many of those trips as I need to, and then hopefully in a matter of seconds for you, probably going to be like 20 minutes, 30 minutes for me, I could continue on with the base and I could show you the design that I want to incorporate for the upper portion of my base. Alright, so we're back, and it is nighttime, but even when Gam up, it's pretty bright over here. So luckily there's no trees or anything obstructing that view, so just a few probably like lampposts or whatever could easily light up everything, so not terrible. Anyway, back to what I was saying. So the concept and idea is to do this. And then we have the doors, and this is going to be on each little bit, so there's always an access point. And then what we're going to do is go right here, switch this, because I'm using the SS version, specifically the glass ones from the SS terminal, and I'll show you why in just a second. Then we go right, is that snapping how I want it? I think. It is. I just got to probably go like this. Do I want the overhang? Because I fear by losing this, I'm gonna wind up until it's connected. Honestly, the overhang isn't bad, because if I ramp this, you know what? I'll incorporate that, because I went through too much aggravation with the order trying to redo things just for the convenience of how it'll look, and I don't want to do that anymore. So we go like this, and I think if I could get one more, that would be the height I need. Because then I'm thinking wherever it falls, I could incorporate like a peak and maybe round it up. Otherwise, it's going to be a flat roof, which isn't the worst thing, but it will be kind of annoying to deal with. Let's just finish this off in the meantime. Go with 3. And then that had 1, 2, and 3. Alright, so let me just do all this because it's pretty mundane and boring. And I'll catch you when I'm up to where the next step of this project will be. Alright, so the first layer is done. I went ahead and went with the border, as you can see, with the ramps and the, I believe, the triangle sloped ceiling, walls, whatever they're called, the roof things. And I gotta say, originally I did not plan for this, but I have a new idea that I want to start using and make this thing pretty much like a whole tower, similar to like, well, you could kind of see, okay, maybe not, but round over there near Blue Ob, there's like a whole kind of lost tower kind of thing. I want to sort of replicate to some degree, not completely, just in part. So what I want to do, because I really started to like how this looked. Wait, oh, well, that didn't work for landing I wanted. Let me try that again. So I really liked how the ramps looked, but I obviously couldn't bring it past. Like, I couldn't bring it all the way around because obviously with the angling and the circle that I made and all that stuff, you had to redirect certain things and use different structures, the triangle thing specifically. So that left me with this shape, and I gotta say, it really looks pretty good. Like, obviously the little gaps in it, they're not terrible in terms of how I got the angles without these to look like the models. I mean, obviously I have it where you could have it on the 3 sides, which is how it would look normally, but I wanted obviously to have something different, so I went ahead and changed each one to look a certain way, so that way it fit to this kind of shape as much as possible. Again, the gap with the glass wasn't properly designed into the mod, so by removing it, unfortunately the glass doesn't fill those little bits, but it's really not the worst thing. It doesn't really drag too much attention away. Like, from afar you don't even really notice it, and even then you kind of get that angle with the light glare. Like, you can see where it kind of catches in certain spots and doesn't in others. It's not the worst thing. I don't mind it. So now that we got this all situated, what I want to do now is hopefully, there we go, land back up here, get on top of here, and now I want to bring up this by 2. Does that look fair? Yeah, I'm going to bring it up by 2, so pretty much just go all the way around here. Probably easier to do this first person. Just bring this all the way around, so that way we hopefully snap it correctly. There we go. Yeah, so I want to build like a couple layers depending on how... It's freaking Rex. I gotta move it again. I'm telling you. It's great, but it is kind of a tight space, so... Dang it. I thought I had that. Alright, you come back here, because I gotta get back on top of there. Alright, good. Perfect. So yeah, so I did like how the tower was kind of shaping up without, again, intention. So I'm pretty cool with that design and layout. So what I'm gonna do, once we pretty much corner, or rather enclose this whole area, I'm gonna repeat the process. So basically we're gonna have this here, that there. So that's gonna be the overhang into this. Actually, hold on. I gotta go in one layer. That's what I forgot to do. So we go back to the demo gun, pick these up, and since these are all connected, should not have an issue, but just to make sure, we're gonna go one by one, and there we go. Because I want the overhang similar to I have it on the first floor, like on this side. So do I have any ceilings? I don't think I made any, which is kind of unfortunate. I know I have some at base, so there is the chance that I just gotta make a quick trip. No, I don't have any ceilings. So I'll show in just a second what I plan on doing. But basically, actually it's easier just to show from afar. So basically what I plan to do is have all of this, the outer edge, come in by 1 ceiling, maybe 2 depending. I gotta see how it looks. And then we're gonna pretty much repeat this entire perimeter. Obviously it's gonna be a little smaller because it's gonna be enclosed a bit more. So we're gonna bring it up 2 ceilings, ramp it off, and then obviously with certain parts we're gonna have to do the triangle ceiling thing. So eventually that'll figure itself out. Hopefully everything lines up, because that would be great. So kind of just like this part right here, like the edges and everything, they go all the way up to the top, and then the ramps will go all the way to the top so they don't like cross patterns and make it all a bunch of an eyesore. So once I get to that point, I think towards the top, because we're probably, if I'm kind of guessing, but kind of calculating how this should look. If I go based off the circle, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, call it 5, 5.5, maybe even 6 foundations across in terms of the radius, not the circumference. A little bit of math right there, geometry. Which shockingly wasn't my strong suit, but either way, some things you remember, some things you forget. So if I go call it by 2, that'll be one layer, then 2, that'll be another layer. Then I should have the tip of the tower ready. So for that, I kind of have an idea how I want to approach it in terms of the design. Not 100%, because obviously I got to see how all of this will fit before I could do any of that. But I definitely do want to try and see how it'll look. I'm thinking if not a watchtower, it's probably going to become a sentry point where it's like I'll have miniguns and everything, because I don't expect many flyers to be in the area. Like, the only issues would be RGs and wyverns, which RGs could kill on my own with or without a turret. That's fine. They go down even a 150 pretty quick. Wyverns, depending on the level, that could take a little bit more work and time. So definitely going to consider a heavy turret if I'm able to get it situated with that. Obviously, I know I have the resources. If anything, I could craft it. I know I'm the level because, again, well, that's not showing it, but I know I'm 105. We're capped at that. So I have no issue in terms of getting it. Again, I just got to see how it'll look towards the end, which, filling it all up, you see pretty much what I'm going to do. I'll probably go layer by layer, just a little update to show you this is where I'm at. Now I'm just going to do it again. This is where I'm at, do it again, and so forth. Till I get to the top of the tower, because then I'll be able to actually formulate an idea, hopefully by that point, on how I want the top of it to look. And then at that point, then the base, for the most part, will be done in terms of the building. Then I just got to fill in with all the bunch of stuff. So I'll see you in just a moment with hopefully a few layers done by that point. Alright, so here's a little bit of an update like I promised. So this is where I got it to go. I kind of like how it's looking. However, I'm thinking I may, you can see by the triangle parts of this ceiling part, like this level, I don't know if I want to remove some of the borders, or rather the side walls of the triangle ceilings, because I kind of want it in a way to have structure and look like it actually is snapping. So I kind of like this part of it, but at the same time, I kind of think it could look good if I remove the structure and make it one giant one giant glass piece. But honestly, now that I'm thinking about it, I feel like that's gonna look because for it to work properly, you'd want scaffolding in the middle. So pillars, potentially I might incorporate just for aesthetics, because obviously he's being held up without it. And it kind of looks cool. It's giving the whole observatory look that I was kind of going for originally. But now, I feel that, I think for right now, I'll leave it. If anything, at the end, I'll see how it looks and change it. But for right now, what I'm going to do is start with the next structure, or rather the next level, which is going to be 2 high. And then we bring in the, not that one, where are my, 7. Then we bring in a thing like that. And by that point, I may, let me see. Because this goes 1 out. And this could go, I think I'm going to bring it 1 higher. So let me make sure I'm on demo. Let me pick that up. Go back to the wall. And then we'll go 1. Now, do I want to go 2? Let me see. 2. Yeah, 2 is too much. No pun intended. We're going to take you. And we'll leave it at the 1. Now, I just got to bring this across everywhere else. And then we go in by where my thing's there. We go in by 1. And I fell in, of course. And I can't get there. Great. But you can see the idea I had. Let me whistle you. Come inside here. I know I'm slow, but come on. Thank you. Good enough. And now we could probably just do this while flying would be the easier solution. That's not what I want to hit. There. Then we go 1 and 2. And then we will bring in the walls once more. Go 1, 2. Now, where's that fall? That's going to bring me to the center. So essentially, that little hexagon in the middle, if I'm thinking how this is falling, then I'm going to have just that little bit. Okay, that's good. And then we just bring it up 1 extra wall just so that way it's nice and symmetrical. Because I believe out here is... yeah, it's technically 3 because of the doors. So we have 1, 2, 3, level. 1, 2, 3, level, and 1, 2, 3, level. So now I just got to fill this all in. I'm going to leave that bit undone just because I feel like it's going to be something I want to show you guys, like my whole process behind it. Because I actually don't necessarily know if what I originally set out to do is going to work, nor is the next idea I had going to work. So I got to see how this all shapes up. Again, I might even see how it looks with the whole removal of the framing just to see if it makes a little bit more sense. And then if anything, I'll throw in pillars in the middle just so that way it looks like it should be there. So that way it actually feels supported. Even though, again, it's not relevant. Like, it's not needed whatsoever. But we'll do all that. And again, I will see you in just a short moment. Alright, so here we are now. We got the next layer set. I kind of like the geometrics of it because you can see it's kind of like that in between. I may potentially redesign the framing again to fit a little better. But for right now, at least I have the structures down where I want them. So the next part was to obviously build this part of the ceiling, which I have yet to change the transparency on. That only takes a couple seconds. Actually, since I'm here, I might as well get that done now. Let me pull out the... where is it? Here, transparency. We go to the ones we want right there. And then we just literally just throw this on all of them. It's kind of hard to see because of all the shadows and everything. So let me just do it like this so I can tell which ones I've done and haven't done. So in terms of the design and the layout, at first I had them all with their framing, all the triangles, because that's what all of this is. They're all literally triangle ceilings. So I didn't want to redesign the entire second tier, like this part, to match this, because I would probably have to take all of this that I've done off just to fit it, and then it would look probably close, if not maybe similar, and then only to hope that it looked decent, where it could have matched and could have not matched. So didn't really want to risk losing more time in doing that. So I went ahead and just went with this. Then I came up with a simple kind of geometric design in the sense that I kind of like it. Again, kind of don't because it doesn't really fit. Like, it works and all. I'm not saying it doesn't. But in terms of, like, the rest of the design, it, again, like, if I go to K mode, you can see it kind of looks cool, especially from a top-down view. Because you got, like, an hourglass shape right here. Then you got the hexagon, and then it continues and continues. The downfall is that the pit, like, the tips of the triangles don't technically touch or intersect properly. So it's not the worst thing unless you're just standing at the right angle to see that problem. Otherwise, like, from here, you'd never really know. In terms of the rest of this situation, I'm kind of at a bit of a tear. Like, I want to keep this design, the geometrics of it, just because it looks cool. But for it to match the rest of this, again, because they're triangle ceilings, you couldn't exactly do what I did on the first floor, like of the first set of ceilings. So I feel like, again, I'm kind of half committed to this. I'll see by the end how I feel. I gotta change this bit right here, but I'll do that afterwards. Let me just change the rest of these over. So again, still a little bit torn in terms of what I don't want to do and what I do want to do, but I know especially with the this part right here, the roof, the ceiling, the top of the tower, I know pretty much exactly what I want to do. I did all that already. And it's pretty simple, luckily. All I got to do is just find the right snap point. Let me just go ahead and drop it there. Perfect. Because then what I could do is get on my RG, bring it up right here, and hopefully the snapping situation isn't terrible. That's gonna be a little annoying, but as long as I could get it close to where I want it, like right here, then I could just snap the rest. Gotta hit you to fall. I had you for a second. There you go. Perfect. And then we could land right on top of here, please. Okay, let's try this a third time. Let me land. Thank you. So now we have to delicately finesse. We didn't. Okay. Not the worst thing. Could always grab it right there. Right? No, you're not giving it to me. That's unfortunate. Okay, I got you. Let me go ahead and I had it. There we go. And you have one, and then I just got put one right here. Almost there. Perfect. So that's pretty much what I want to do. Let me just get on the RG to make sure it looks correct. You're not gonna want to come down here, are you? No, you will. Cool. So now that I got the top of the tower set up, now I obviously got to rearrange the framing so that way it fits. Let's go ahead and go to model selector. For this, I'm thinking just on the sides will be enough. So that way we go like that, do that, that, and that, that, and just kind of bring this whole design across. Because I first got to see how the, I first got to see how this looks in terms of just like everything. It's not terrible. It's really not. Like, now it kind of fits pretty nicely. The top of the peak, do I go with every other having a frame? Let me see. No sides. That's gonna clip the wrong one, isn't it? Yep. I had you for a second. No, that's not what we wanted. Alright, let me first do the transparency, because that's gonna allow me to see everything a bit easier. There we go. So I see there's gonna be a gap if I don't have that there. So worst case, I could bring it across, like from the top of the, whatchamacallit. Like, I could bring this beam across from the walls, so at least it shows correctly and it's not like a big gap, or at least not a ginormous gap that's noticeable like it is now on this one right here. So let me see about doing clear that. Check it. No, that's model selector. I need model selector, I mean. So let me see, was it 3 sides B? Oh, cool. So by doing that, not as terrible. Let me just see what 3 sides C, or is it A? It's probably A. It's not terrible either. So let me drag these around. Just bring that all the way over there. And then we go to this side, bring that over there like so. Perfect. This freaking bird, man. Then we go to, where are you? There. Bring those around. Nope, I cleared it. Bring those settings. Thank you. Just gonna do that and that. So now they kind of look like windows, which isn't bad. I do like this. Now the ceiling situation on the top. This would be a nice if I had like a watchtower, or like on a, what are they called? The lighthouse, like those little flames. I mean, I think I could install a mod. I remember from Fjorder that had it, and I would literally just use it for like the fireplace thing. The cauldron, I believe it was. I don't know if I want to do that. I could simply just use a bunch of standing torches or fire, like campfires. Kind of looks tacky if I did that, but I'll mess around with that much later. For right now, I want to figure out this ceiling situation. Yeah, I'm going to have to play around that for a bit, but for right now, that's most of the base completed. At least like all the structures are set in stone. So that's just now going to cosmetics, how I want things to look. So be right back when I'm all set in stone with that. So I finally completed the build and got everything transferred from the old base to the new base now. Before I show you, I just want to point out, yes, it's a bit disorganized and messy. That's because I literally just grabbed everything, put them in random storage boxes. I just wanted to get everything here, so going forward I could organize it and add things, because I would have done like the whole organization in the storage boxes like I did at the old base, but since I don't want to do that and I want to incorporate the vaults, the SS vaults, disarray is going to be the thing for at least this particular second. I'm going to have it all organized prior to the next episode. Couple of the things I want to point out. This took a long while to transfer. Even if I had my original RG, it would have taken a while. Like, I think it took me maybe going back and forth a few times, like maybe an hour, because not that I had a bunch of stuff, but because a few things I had were very heavy. So that's what took the cake in terms of the distance and why I had to do so many different trips. So anyway, without further ado, here is the base. I gotta say, I do kind of like it, although there are certain elements I wasn't too fond of originally. Looking at it, I really am a big fan of the design, especially, especially the parts of like, okay, so the stair ramp things, not a huge fan, but it works for at least accessorizing like the edges, so that way there's a little bit of something else to go off of, not like just one specific smooth kind of circle, which I wasn't too fond of. Then we go to the second layer, or at least like the first layer of the ceilings. I went with simple rectangles just to showcase really everything. Like, it was the best I could make it. Granted, they were regular walls. It wasn't like I could do a bunch of different designs. So I was kind of forced to be left with that alternative. But in terms of the roof, or rather the top tier of this tower of sorts, and obviously the pinnacle, like the peak of it, I have great admiration for the design. Even with just the borders, which again, if you want to know how I did just those lines, basically there are those two triangles. You got one there and one there. I'm using the head of the RG to pinpoint it so you could tell. I got the one there, and that is cornered, I believe. No, that is not cornered. That is just the one side. And then over here I have the part of the triangle where it's that corner and that corner. So it's one of the corners. And basically you just leave out that bit right there, and then you get that look. And again, that with like the six-centered star or whatever in the middle, I really do like it. Like, I really thought I was gonna hate it at first. Okay, terrible choice to use an RG. Yeah, this is as good as an angle you could get. I really do like how it looks, especially orbital view, like looking down. And then obviously the beauty of it is, not only was I trying to get like the whole aesthetic where I could see, you know, the world and everything, like have like a balcony and everything like that, I also did it so that way I could see if there's any threats in the area. As you can see, RGs really are the only concern. Wyverns are far over there, and I probably could have built over there and been fine, but better be safe than sorry, especially with everything here. And then we have the metal spike wall here, so that way no creatures on foot could get in, and if they do, they will meet their demise. Sorry, words. Then I went ahead, like I said, everything's in disarray. It's just here, so that way it's here, and then I can rearrange going forward. I got the feeding trough, so we got that situated. Then we have all the stairs on the exterior going in, so essentially any point or any spot I could come in, although I kind of got an idea where the trough is. That's going to be kind of like the front of the base, if you will. Oh, I'm thirsty. Cool. So this part right here is basically going to serve unofficially but officially as the front portion of the base, which I'll redesign everything on the inside to reflect. A little bit of lag. Cool. So when we go inside, we have the Parasword. This I literally just have here for the moment. I might do something up there for him, just so that way it's out of the way. Obviously, this is not permanent, like I've been saying now, like, 4 times. This is just obviously like in the other base, just to detect any creatures. Really just RGs. As you can see, we can see them quite easily from here. So there's the beauty of that. We can see everything else on the map. We can see the winter biome, blue alb. We can see volcanoes. We can see the sky and all the ocean below if we just simply pop a door open. There we go, which It's a very good spot I chose because right here I'm thinking about putting some sort of a water tame or water pen kind of idea. I don't know exactly what, but I definitely will incorporate something soon. And the beauty of it is that we could get water because of the irrigation pipes, which won't take too long to make. So that I'll probably have again set up in the next episode, I should say. So we have the smithy, the fabricator. The generator is powered with gasoline, so everything has power. Then we have the preserving bin, the SS converter, the forge, the campfire, the mortar and pestle, which I'll probably not be using as much. I mean, maybe here and there, but the Equus is really the main point of it because the weight cap, you could get more with a horse. Then we have the crafting station, and then we have the terminal with all our lovely, lovely dinos that we have. Not much, but a good chunk. And then I won't show you everything, but like I won't go inside. You saw everything over time, what I have, but all of these, well, not all of them. Some of them are filled, some of them are half filled, some of them are partially filled, some of them are empty. This is literally everything I had at one point or another in that base, all accumulated to this. So again, the vaults are going to be the main thing. I don't know how many I'll need. The SS vaults, I'm pretty sure, are smaller than the normal ones, so that could save some space, where I could like stack them one above the other, so at least there is that. In terms of, and we also have the bed. In terms of everything else with the base, again, I'm going to have to kind of sleep on it, literally pun intended, because the bed's right there. I'm going to have to kind of sleep on it, just so that way I could get a feel like, right now I'd say it's pretty good, but tomorrow when I hop back on it, trying to rearrange everything, I say, you know, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to change this, I want to change that. So that's all subject to change. Again, for the most part, all of this is pretty much going to stay the same in terms of structure. It's just more so like decorations and the lights potentially, because at night, good thing I'm showing at day, but at night it gets really dark because even with the windows, not fully tinted, but like half tint, gets pretty dark. So some fireplaces or light structures will definitely be in an effect. I might just do kind of like set each area up over here. Let me showcase it, like each area going there. Have like one of the multi-lamps or whatever, the omnidirectional lamps, like the ceiling lamps. Just have that set over a certain area. So like this could be a cooking station, storage station, crafting station, so on and so forth. So at least everything will be somewhat organized by hopefully next episode, but at the very least within a couple episodes. Definitely want to improve the metal forge situation, so I'm going to look for getting an industrial forge. It's going to be a bit of a grind, but I don't mind doing it. Again, we are the level for it. We literally should have most of the resources, just obviously the metal is going to be the kicker, and then we'll have everything powered. We could run cabling, and we'll be fine there. But yeah, in terms of everything else, I really do like the setup of everything with the base. It's nice and small. It's not too large. It's very, very compact. Everything is within essentially arm's reach. Like I could go, even right now, if I need to get some built in the smithy, could pull right from the storage crates right there. Oh, there's already a problem, but you should have figured out not to get too close. Yeah, you're a bit bloody, so I might just take you out so I could get you some levels. Are you bloody? No, you're fine. I'm gonna let you live. But yeah, as I was saying, everything is in the pole range distance is what I was trying to say, so there won't be any issues with that. In terms of what else I have, honestly, like I said, for right now, this is kind of all I set out to do, so this is all I got planned for today. Let me know down below if you have any suggestions or improvements I can make, or even enhancements that I could add onto this base to make it either more aesthetically pleasing, more effective, more serving a purpose, if you will. But with that all being said, I definitely see I've been recording for a bit and I'm kind of spent because not only did all the transferring of the stuff take a while and all the building take a while, but it is very hot today and we're in a bit of a heat wave going forward. So I'm going to try and hopefully get this situated where it could be a cooler day when I record next. So who knows what I'll be doing by that point. Maybe a tame, maybe a base add-on 1 to 2, we'll see. But that's going to do for today. Again, if you did enjoy, make sure to hit the like button. If you like the idea, the design, and everything, also hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you are coming back here regularly or you're new, just so we don't miss anything I do going forward, whether it's ARK, Lost Island, ARK Aquatica, which, again, I'm still holding hopes for. We'll see how long it takes for them to fix it. Hopefully not as long as I probably will assume by the end of August, maybe in September it'll be set. But I'm going to hope that it's within the next week or two. Like, we'll see. But again, we'll not lose too much sleep over it. Again, leave any comments and suggestions for anything you have for me going forward that you'd like to see for me to do. But with all that being said, hope you have a great rest of your day and take care.